Good morning. Week 5, NFL DFS here. We're into bye week season already. Falcons, Steelers, Bears, and Packers. Oh my, everybody is on a bye, and this slate's getting pretty gross already. So, Jameson, Hutchison, the greatest of all time, Joel Wirth, with us this morning. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. My beloved Brewers got off to a good start yesterday. Get the
Yes, they did.
1-0 series lead, so that's a good thing. We got a game going on in London right now for some reason. So yeah, very very short slate compared to what we're used to. So should be an interesting day of DFS.
It sure will be. So we got 6 games in the early window and 4 in the late. I think this is the smallest slate that we will have all season. We saw just Dalen Gabriel throwing a pass to Harold Fannin. So anybody excited for all the Browns rookies? They've seemed to be off to a hot start. So Carson Wentz still criminal, still over the pond. I guess they let Aaron Rodgers come back to the States this past week. So we're going to get into it here. Let me pull up the solver. And then the first game looked a lot more interesting on paper. A lot of injuries to go through, but the Raiders at the Colts. So, Joel, if you want to kick this off while I pull this up here.
Yeah, we get the Raiders 7-point road underdogs, 48.5-point total in this one. So 20.75 implied total for the Raiders, 27.75 for the Colts. May I start with a rant this morning?
Let's do it. It's the best way to kick off Sunday morning.
I'm not a Raiders fan, so this is going to be straight Raiders talk radio griping, but we're hearing this morning that Brock Bowers has a PCL injury, potentially sprain, and a bone bruise, and they've let him play through it, even though the only prescription to get him better is rest. This is an organization that has no prospects for making the playoffs this year. You let the face of your franchise, you don't have a franchise quarterback, so the face of your franchise, the best player on your team, play through an injury that can only get better with rest. You went 0-3 in the 3 games he played. This is just complete organizational malpractice. Like Pete Carroll, whoever made this decision should be fired. Like should not get on the plane. If the doctor said he's okay to play, they should be fired. If Pete Carroll overrode the doctors, then he should be fired. Spytech should be fired because he's the GM and he's in charge. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not a Raiders fan. I care about good football, and it's absurd that he was allowed to play for this long. Just absolutely ridiculous.
So coming off a little spicy. Sound like me, so I'll take that as a compliment. I'll compliment you with that. But no, it just it doesn't make a lot of sense because when he's been out there, he's not been good. I mean, he is just not.
No, he's been terrible.
And he's
been useless.
They've got weapons too. I mean, Michael Mayer was there until he got out. I mean, I don't know. Trey Tucker has been really good. They got Dante Thornton and Jack Beck. I know they're not tight ends necessarily. They do bring up the greatest tight end prospect of all time, I believe, in Albert O. He will be the starting tight end for.
I didn't see that. That's exciting.
So I know a lot of people in the dynasty world just absolutely love him. Can't quit that drug. So, but no, I mean, from the Raiders organization standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, Brock Bowers is not going to play. Michael Mayer is not playing. So I'm going to kick this off with Jacoby Myers, who ends up. We'll see. $6,000 on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, he ends up being $5,600. The thing about this slate is there's about 10 plays that I'm not going to necessarily call chalk, but people are going to be on. There's only 8 spots. So you're going to pick the 8 puzzle pieces and try to pick them in because this slate is really gross, and Jacoby Myers will end up being one of these guys. The Raiders' offensive line is an abomination. They'll lose Colt Miller, their left tackle, and this will be a bottom 3 unit the rest of the way. So Ashton Genty, talked about last week, was in a good spot. He goes off. I'm not sure people are going to chase it, and I don't know if you really should. I mean, I don't think this is the matchup for it just because how bad the offensive line is. 7,200 on DraftKings FanDuel, and 6,700 on DraftKings. So him, Trey Tucker, I think will be the guy on the Raiders stuff that will be underowned. And Trey Tucker, he's had the one monster game, but Geno Smith's been bad. This is a great spot for Geno.
He's been terrible.
Yep. But he has been so bad. I mean, the Colts lost Xavier Howard to retirement. I mean, he got cooked so bad by Puka Nacua that he went out and said, I'd rather spend time with my family than get paid millions to play NFL football.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I just
no mas.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of this grandpa. So I think in large field stuff, I think the Geno stuff's viable because he has been pushing it, but it's been so bad. Geno has been a turnover machine. I don't know if he still does, but he was leading the league in turnovers for a little bit. But I mean, it's just very concentrated on that side. And then on the other side for the Colts, Alec Pierce will be out. Came on here last week and said people are going to play Adonai Mitchell with confidence. That's an idiot.
Yeah, we need to give you some props on that one. You nailed that call.
No, trust me. I've watched Indianapolis Colts football. I know how this goes. He's a very talented player, but he does some of the most asinine, inhumane, WTF moments that you can that he defies gravity. The fumble into the end zone, the block that he didn't need for the Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones should have had a monster game last week, and they didn't. They probably should have won the game. Should have beat the Rams, but he was going to get benched, but Alec Pierce is out, so he might be limited in snaps, and they'll play Ashland Doolin, the veteran who's not a moron. Every single week he is on the field, he does just dumb shit, and I can't explain it. It's not like he's just it's just, I don't get it, but whatever. He's the dumbest football player alive. I'm going to move on from that. Daniel Jones, Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren, that is the passing offense, and then Jonathan Taylor, who ends up being the highest. He's probably the second or third best play on the slate as far as running backs go. I like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot today and Devon Achane, but 9,500. If you're playing Jonathan Taylor today, it's going to be really expensive, obviously. And then on DraftKings, he's 8K. Are you playing any Jonathan Taylor today?
I think you have to. I just don't. Without Bowers, and you brought up Geno Smith, and he's putting points on the board, but he's also sabotaging himself with the turnovers. So he costs himself almost as much as he puts up. So without Bowers, I don't know. I think Jacoby Myers was a massive disappointment as a cash game staple last week, but I think you got to go back to that just because I think that's really all they have, and he's just going to get a ton of volume. The Genty thing. Is he going to get that passing game volume that he did last week? That's the thing that concerns me. So, if the Raiders can't score, then it's just going to be and that's what concerns me about this. And I like Tyler Warren a lot as a tight end because the tight end is pretty gross this week.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm really not interested in anything in the Indy passing game, and I just want to ride it through Jonathan Taylor. And this is it's a high total game, so it's a game that you're going to want to play. So I think Jacoby Myers in cash, and then Taylor. I think Taylor's probably viable in both, but I think he's going to be like my cash game staple. He's expensive, and you're going to have to pay up for him, but I think you're going to have to because I think he's got just the best chance of just being the guy who breaks the slate and just the guy you have to have this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I will come out and say for tournaments, I am playing Daniel Jones, JT, Michael Pittman, and Tyler Warren. So that's the way I guess I'll be playing it. I think all that together will go under own. I'm playing Jacoby Myers as the bring back. Tyler Warren is 4,700 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, he ends up being the second highest, I believe, at 6,100. Top three tight ends. We'll get to the rest of them later on. Jake Ferguson, Trey McBride, and then the rest of this tight end group is just terrible. And I don't know if he got brought on to DraftKings, but I saw the name Taysom Hill pop up this week. I'm not sure if he's in the player pool, but if he is, I'm very worried that he has 5 plays, 2 touchdowns, no tight end does anything else. Taysom Hill ends up being the guy you have to have. So we'll get to that whenever we get to that. But I think that's about it. Any interest in either defense here?
I think you got to be interested in the Colts. I was just looking up their price right here.
4,700 on FanDuel, and then
I guess I thought they were going to be cheap, but they're not. So Geno's such a turnover machine that I think you got to be interested. I wish they were cheaper, but I'm interested in the Colts. I don't know how much I'm going to play them at that price though.
I'd probably play him with Jonathan Taylor and just correlate that way.
Sure.
So that's that'll be it for this game. The next one, another one. This will be the game that a lot of people build their lineups around. The Cowboys on the road to the New York Jets. I'll play a little bit of it. I don't think I'm going to be as excited as others, but how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, this is a game that everyone's going to be playing. 47.5 point total is second, or actually third behind the Detroit game and the Raiders game. So 47.5 in this one. Dallas, I've got them as 2.5 point favorites. They've moved up to 2.5 this morning. So implied total of 25 for the Cowboys, 22.5 for the Jets. And that's a Dallas team that gave up 3 touchdowns to Romeo Doubs last week. Like they haven't been the just track meet team on the road that they have been at home, but I think this is just a smash spot for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson's been really good this year so far. I'm worried about the back and forth because Cowboys are going to be down at least 3 offensive linemen. They might be down 4. And not that the Jets' defense, which I thought would be a lot better than it has been so far. It just, my one, I guess, angle on this slate is the rest of these quarterbacks on this slate. We have Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, and Herbert, I guess. If Justin Fields has this game where he scores 40 points and he laps the rest of the quarterbacks by at least 10 points, that's my worry. And then if he gets so owned, and you don't really have to stack him with anybody, you can with Garrett Wilson, obviously, Breece Hall, and then Mason Taylor. But I mean, you can play Justin Fields by himself. He goes off. You feel like you're behind on that. That's my worry because, I mean, Cowboys defense, I think they lost Hooker to IR, their safety. Yep. So, I mean, they've ran out of high school people to play at this point. They don't have anybody in that secondary to play. So, obviously, I just worry that it'll be a little more lopsided than kind of the back and forth as far as that goes. Garrett Wilson, we do need to talk about because he's been really good, even though Justin Fields' arm has not been. 6,100 on DraftKings and then on FanDuel, 7,800. You're going to pay a little bit. And then the one guy who I think he's going to have some ownership, but might be the one that's a little bit forgotten about is Breece Hall at 7K on FanDuel and then DraftKings 5,600. Are you interested in Breece today?
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are giving up just running back pass game volume in bunches. I mean, we saw like last week against the Packers, Josh Jacobs couldn't get anything going on the ground, but they were just grinding out, screen passes and running back dump offs and getting huge chunk plays out of that. So, yeah, I mean, from that, Dallas's run defense has been okay. It's been pretty decent, but yeah, they're getting gashed by running backs in the pass game. So I think you definitely have to be interested in Breece Hall as well.
Yeah. So just that and Braylon Allen, he's going to be out for a couple months, it sounds like. So it sets up really nice for the Jets here. My problem is it's weird to have this much confidence in the New York Jets. I will put it.
That is true.
I will put it that way. So
are you surprised the Cowboys are favored here? I mean, I know the Jets haven't won and they've got the short week, but
yes,
they've been bad on the road. I'm a little surprised that they're favored here.
I am as well. I mean, down 4 offensive linemen, that is very hard to come back from no matter who you are. Just George Pickens. I mean, they do have Sauce Gardner. I think I'm going to call him Ahmed until he gets a little bit better at corner. He's
been very mediocre.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of sauce in that bottle. So it's, and then the Cowboys stuff, Jake Ferguson has been just getting absolutely pummeled with targets. I mean, he's getting 400 a game. It's going to be second or third as far as tight ends pricing goes, 4,800 on DraftKings, and then I believe he's like a 6K guy on FanDuel. Yeah, 6K for Jake Ferguson, and then the all-time great George Pickens. I'm curious if people click on him today as much as this game environment. 7,100 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he ends up being 6,600. Last week, he has the monster game after week 1 where he got targeted 400 times and they didn't get there against the Eagles. I mean, he has just absolutely, done the belt to ass treatment to these secondaries. So I love George Pickens. I've been very high of him all year. I'm not sure if I'm going to play him much today. I'm really worried about the offensive line for Dallas to where Dak just can't get there on these guys. So I don't know, man. Any interest in probably not Cowboys defense, but Jets defense going up against 4 offensive linemen?
I don't want to play either defense. Just too likely this game just turns into a shootout. Yeah, Dallas has not been nearly as good on the road, like we said, as they have been at home, especially offensively. They've been bad defensively in both spots. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be contrarian, I guess you could, but it's not somewhere I want to go.
I hear you. Tolbert, Turpin, I don't think I'm going to play him unless you're playing like really large field stuff.
Turpin's out, so yeah, it would be all Tolbert.
That's I haven't seen that yet. And then the Mason Taylor tight end. It's just crazy how much ownership these Jets are getting. Like, no, it's still the New York Jets. I mean, that's my scary thing. Like, everybody's very confident. We're going to play Jets today. We might bring 2 or 3 with us to a cash game lineup. So it's still the Jets, man. Still the Jets.
Yeah, but, the Taylor thing worries me. I'm not sure I could get there.
2,800 on DraftKings. He's been fine. I mean, I would play him probably with Justin Fields stuff compared to him solo. But that's
Yeah,
just
I guess I've got another cash or super low price tight end I'd rather go to if it comes to that. But we'll get to that later.
Yep. So next game, it's going to get a lot uglier from here. Just giving a heads up to everybody out there.
Yeah, exactly.
That and I forgot to say earlier, if you have any lineup advice, you need us to pray over your team, drop them in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff as well. So, New York Football Giants on the road, going to New Orleans, the battle of Jackson Dart versus Spencer Rattler, two of the all-time greats in the NFL. Malik Neighbors out for the year, really ugly injury, which kind of stinks because I think it's set up really nice for Dart. But
brutal.
I don't know. There probably isn't much to say here, but Joel, if you got anything, I will let you have at it.
Yeah, this line has moved. Like we were talking before the show, I was surprised that the Giants are underdogs here. I don't think the Saints should be favored fan of anyone, but this line has moved to Giants getting 2.5, which really surprises me. 42-point total in this one. So one of the lower totals of the week. 19.75 implied total for the Giants, 22.25 for the New Orleans Saints. Can the Saints score 20 points? This is a good Giants defense. I'm not really Olave. You have to be interested in just because he gets so many targets. And yeah, whoever gets matched up on Drew Phillips is going to probably do something, but it's like, I've been trying to play that matchup, but it just turns into a bunch of pass interference penalties and your guy doesn't get there from a fantasy standpoint. So I don't know how Shaheed gets there. You talked about Taysom Hill. I don't even know if he's going to be active. We'll see about that. That's always a concern. I have no interest in Kamara. Looks absolutely washed. I have no interest in playing that. So I think Cam Scadaboo is not going to last playing like this. I know you may love him. I love the play. You may love the play style. He's not going to last. This dude just runs headlong into contact. So just play him while you can because it's not going to last very long. So yeah, that's really all I'm kind of interested in this game. Is just Scadaboo's interesting. Otherwise, I'm not super. Olave, I think you have to have some interest in because he gets so many targets, but I just don't feel like this game just feels like it's going to be kind of meh. Just no one's really going to get there.
Yeah. Olave, I would say probably more of a DK play just because of the PPR aspect volume of it. Yep. Yeah. Cam Scadabo, 6,200 on FanDuel. I think he's definitely going to get some ownership on FanDuel this week. And then 6K at on DraftKings. No Tyrone Tracy, I believe he was doubtful.
Jackson, I think he's been ruled out.
Both these guys, I mean, they're probably going to throw for 100 yards today, but Jackson Dart had a ton, and I mean an absolute ton of designed run stuff, and it'll probably get even worse with with Malik Neighbors out. So 5,300 on DraftKings. FanDuel ends up being, I mean, he's almost 7K. I don't know. I'd just rather play Fields, I think.
Yeah, he probably will get some volume, and probably for the price, he'll be fine. Yeah, in a cash game, I guess I could see him, but what happens if this is Cam Scadabo gets two rushing touchdowns and this game ends up 20-10 and he's not winning anything for you. He'll probably be fine if you just want someone who can just pay off their price slot, but I don't think he's going to win you a tournament or anything.
Yeah. So as far as wide receivers go, you prefer Wandale or Darius Slayton today? I mean, how about this for some hard-hitting analysis?
If I'm ever playing a Giants receiver that is not named Malik Neighbors, you can just take me out back and,
put you out of your misery.
Do what you need to do. Yeah. There's no way I'm playing either one of these guys. No chance. Come on.
So
even against a bad defense.
I hate to ignore it. And then both defenses are viable. I would say I would lean the Giants because that edge rush. They got to Justin Herbert, their first win last week. I know they were down a bunch of offensive linemen, but I think he threw for 126 yards last week. Spencer Rattler did.
Right.
I want to fact check that because it might have been worse, honestly. Oh, 126, right on the dot. I mean, come on. He's giving Bryce Young a little bit of run for his money for NFC South, ass quarterback. So I just... speaking of Bryce Young, I'm just going to move on from this game to another barn burner.
I'm interested in the Giants defense. Before we go, especially if you're going to play Scadabo, I think that's a nice pairing. Spencer Rattler, he's bad. He's not good. So
no,
yeah, and this team is going to get a lot of sacks. They could get some turnovers. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in the Giants defense this week. That's probably where I'm going if I don't want to pay up.
Yeah, Saints defense, bottom of the barrel. If you want to punt, I think they're a fine punt.
Yeah,
option,
they're probably
35.
Okay. At home, they're probably fine.
Better on DraftKings better on DraftKings than they are on FanDuel. But speaking of NFC South quarterbacks, Bryce Young. Oh boy, Miami Dolphins without Tyreek, whose leg was turned into a different direction. He will be out for a long time. I guess he will start his next adventure, whatever he's doing. He seems like he's got a lot of extracurricular activities lined up after football, so I think he'll be all right. But Miami Dolphins going to Carolina face the Panthers here. What do you got?
Miami wins their first game, and somehow they're favorites on the road. That tells you how down bad the Carolina Panthers are. Miami this morning is a 1-point favorite on the road, 44.5 point total. So 22 3/4 for the Dolphins, 21.75 for the Carolina Panthers. Dude, I kind of like this game. You gonna kick me off the show for saying I kind of like this game for DFS?
No, because I'm hiding in the closet here, but I've tried to get there. I've tried. Let me hear it.
I love Tet this week. I think this is he's not just getting his first touchdown. I think he's getting two. I think he's getting multiple touchdowns this week. I think this Miami on the road coming off a Monday night game, bad defense in the first place. They can't pressure the quarterback. If there was ever a time for Bryce Young to go off, this is it. So I love Tet this week, and I like Jalen Waddle. I think whenever Tyreek has been out, he has played a big role in the offense. Obviously, H.N.'s going to be a play. He's going to be a top of the market play, but and I'm definitely interested in him because he's going to get a lot of volume out of the backfield, especially in the passing game. But I kind of like Jalen Waddle, especially at that price point. I think he's one of those kind of mid-tier receivers that I'm definitely going to be interested in this week.
Yeah, Waddle ends up being 5,800 on FanDuel, and I mean, if it wasn't for Monday Night Football, he should be a 7K, 7,500 receiver in this realm here, but the salary came out. I honestly, I hate to admit this. I thought Tua, H.N., Waddle was a great stack this week that I don't think anybody's going to play. I've watched Tua play football. He just looks slow. The offense is not near as fast as it used to be because, I mean, they used to just go bombs away, and they've played pretty slow this year. And then Tua, 15, 13, 22, and 7. And without Tyreek, it's been fine. And then Darren Waller, the greatest comeback season of all time, 2 touchdowns in his return. Are you playing it?
No.
You don't want any of this party?
Well, you have 4 targets. You had 2 touchdowns, like 4 targets. No, come on. No.
What if it comes with a rap song? Would it entice you then?
Only if it comes with Kelsey Plum. Then I'm interested.
There you go. Otherwise, you go. So 3,500 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel. I know a lot of people have talked about Malik Washington. I'm not sure it's because Tyreek got hurt in the middle of the game, but Nick Westbrook-Akine was the guy getting the wide receiver 2 stuff over Malik Washington. I don't know if that's just because of the suddenness of what happened, but I know there's people who are kind of excited about Malik Washington, think that's like a slam dunk wide receiver 2. I'm not totally sure. We'll see. I don't know if it even matters, to be quite honest. But
yeah, I'm with you. I'm not getting there on. I got to see it from Malik Washington first before I kind of commit to it.
And then on the other side, Bryce Young has not been good. I don't know what happened. It's the offensive line. I don't know if he's just not tall enough anymore. He was tall for 8 weeks last year. I mean, but Ted Rowe, he's in a really good spot, just like you mentioned. And then the one thing we do need to talk about, no Chuba Hubbard. So we are getting the Rico Dowdle experience today. 4,900 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he ends up being 4,300. My, I guess, issue with this, it's him, it's Rachaad White, we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago we had Kenneth Walker and I think it was Jordan Mason who were just both slam dunk running back chalk pieces, and now we get these guys not in the best matchups, but they're cheap, so I don't know how much people are going to try to jam them in. I just don't think you have to do Rico Dowdle. If you need salary, I think he's fine, but I don't think this is the slam dunk, spot of a lifetime unless you were doing it as far as salary goes. So how much are you? I'm sure you're probably playing Rico, but are you playing a lot of them? Do you feel that confident?
I think you brought up the thing. It's like if I'm paying down at running back, I'd much rather go with Rachaad White. I think it's a much better spot for him against Seattle. And it's just a much better game script for the way I expect that game to play out. So, yeah, I'd want to have some exposure to Dowdle just because Miami's defense is so bad. But, yeah, if I'm paying, are there going to be lineups where I go Dowdle and Rachaad White? Yeah, I'll probably do that in like a tournament. But I don't think I'm going to do that I'm more interested in Dowdle in tournaments and cash games. Let's say that, where I'm very interested in Rachaad White in cash games.
Yeah, especially the PPR aspect. I know Dowdle can do a little bit of that too, but I mean, Rachaad White, we've seen him, even though he's not been great as far as running the football, he just kind of gets there anyways. So
he gets there in pass volume. Yeah. So again, probably a much better DK play than a FanDuel, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But but Dowdle does too, right? I mean, he had 1,000 yards rushing for Dallas last year, but most of his value was kind of in the passing game, and some of that was because CeeDee Lamb got hurt at the end of the year, and that's when he kind of took off. But I prefer Rachaad White if we're going to the backup running backs. And we got to remember Amari DeMarcado and whoever the Arizona running back is going to be. We'll talk about that as well too. So there's a lot of punt running back options out there.
I cannot believe we're going to have to talk about that in 2025, which, we're saving that for a little bit. I know we kind of glossed over it. Devon Achane's going to get a lot of ownership. He's been really good this year.
Yes.
So, and then last thing here, Dolphins defense 3,100 against Carolina on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, they are going to be 3,900. This mid-tier thing, I think they are definitely viable. Panthers, I don't know. I'm not going to play Panthers defense, but I mean they're down here just in case you want to get freaky with it. I don't want to get that freaky. So, but have we talked a little too much about these last two games? I mean, I said it earlier.
I think this game could be fun. I kind of like this game.
I don't know. And I'm going to move on to the next game, and I hate to say it, it's not going to get much better here. So, Houston Texans 1.5 point road favorites. No Lamar Jackson going up against Baltimore, whose entire defense is gone. I mean, wheels are definitely falling off here for Baltimore, but I don't know. Texans, Ravens, what you got?
Yeah, down bad for the Ravens. This is kind of crazy. 41-point total in this one, so implied totals of 21 for the Texans and 20 for Baltimore. Do you see either one of these teams hitting their implied totals? I don't. Cooper Rush? No. I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry has always kind of exploded against the Texans, but this is a little bit of a different situation with no Lamar. They're going to be able to focus on him. Texans have got a very good defense in general. They got a very good run defense. Yeah, I mean, you hit on the Baltimore secondary and like their entire defense just being blown up with injuries. So maybe Nico Collins, maybe do you trust Woody Marks? I don't. In a low scoring game script like this, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can get there with him. So yeah, this is just a tough game to play. If you want, I guess you're going to have to be contrarian just to play this game. I think.
Yeah, I was almost interested in the CJ Stroud stuff with Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. I will come out and say it. I like Nico Collins a lot today. I feel like I've played a lot of Nico Collins and have talked about him a lot on this program, so only makes sense. He's an awesome matchup, and it's very hard to ignore. Texans' offensive line's been really bad, but I'm not sure if the Ravens can get to CJ Stroud as much as some of these other places. So if he has some time, like Nico Collins, Christian Kirk's been okay. And then the rookies, Higgins, and they haven't really gotten there. Dalton Schultz is, I think, kind of interesting. If you just want to find a 3,600 on DraftKings and then on FanDuel, he ends up being 4,900. Just one of these guys. He's gotten 4 or 5 targets each game. If you get a touchdown, kind of pays off. You move on. I don't know if CJ Stroud has the ceiling compared to some of these other guys, so I don't think I can stack it. Probably more of a large field tournament thing. I do like Nico Collins a lot today. Woody Marks had a really good game last week. I'm a little concerned that people are just so confident that they're just going to play him without thinking about it. I mean, Nick Chubb's still there. If they get in the goal line stuff, I still think it's Nick Chubb that gets it in instead of Woody Marks. But he ends up being really cheap. I mean, he had the big game last week, 27 points or 28. We'll see. I've got Woody Marks in one lineup just in case, but I'm not feeling very confident to play him like some other people are. Any interest in Cooper Rush? Or should I just keep going?
Okay. I'd much rather play the Texans defense than Cooper Rush.
That was the last thing I was going to talk about here. Texans defense is really cheap on both sides, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. I mean, that just feels like a trap, right?
Well, don't tell that to me because I'm going to play them everywhere today.
They're 2,400 on DK. How against a backup? It's a very good defense against a backup quarterback? How does that make any sense at all? I don't get it. It feels like a trap. It's like here we're gonna.
If it's
it
too
feels
good
like
to
I'm
be
walking
true,
into a mousetrap. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But I'm going to walk right into it, and it's going to slam right on my head. But
I think you have to, right?
Texans defense has been really good. Like I said, Cooper Rush has not been good. Offensive line's banged up. It's not DFS perspective, but I mean, if Lamar Jackson comes back, I still think the Ravens have a chance to win this division.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they just got to get healthy first, and I don't think the bye week can come soon enough for them. But
yeah, if they get healthy, like they're straight up better than Pittsburgh. They can beat Pittsburgh head to head, and that's the only team that's competitive and that's in that division.
Yep. So I agree, Shelby. Good to see you, my man. Texans defensive line will feast, I believe.
I think so too. Yeah, that price makes no sense at all.
No, and they'll have some ownership. Cardinals defense will have some ownership as well.
Yep.
Things are getting better, and we're going to kick off the last game in the early window, the Broncos at the Eagles. I'm a little surprised that this game does not have as much ownership on a slate that we've talked about all morning that's pretty ugly, and nobody's going to play this game. Maybe I'm missing something here, but I don't know. I don't know. How are you feeling about the Broncos and the Eagles today?
Yeah, I've got Denver as a 4-point road dog, so 43.5 total, 19.75 for Denver, 23.75 for Philly. Is this the A.J. Brown squeaky wheel gets the grease game? I think that's the question. Denver's defense has given up, like they gave up a huge game to Jonathan Taylor, so I think Barkley's got to be in play, even though he hasn't really gotten there. He's just not scoring touchdowns. But yeah, Denver's defense just has been very disappointing, I guess, is the best way to say, especially on the road. So yeah, I think you got to be interested in all aspects of Philly. And if people are off this game and you get contrarian by playing the Eagles, and sign me up. I'm all for it. I love Jalen Hurts this week too.
And that's what it sets up really easy. And I don't think anybody's going to play this game. The Eagles lead the league in 3 and outs. And I don't think Saquon has been bad as much as the offensive line has just not moved mountains like they did last year. I mean, they were sending people 15 yards downfield on every block. But Devontae Smith is $5K on DraftKings. He is $5,800 on FanDuel. And nobody's going to play him.
Yep.
Which I guess I understand. I don't know. Did we get any analysis on how much of that book A.J. Brown's been reading this week? I know he came out there frustrated, and they're going to game plan a little bit, but I would like to know the page number that he has read, and that will gauge kind of his fantasy performance. The more he reads, obviously, the better he plays. But Bo Nix had the one good game against the worst defense of all time in Cincinnati last week, but Broncos have not been great. Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims. I guess I'd play Sutton because that's the easy answer, but
I would say Quinyon Mitchell has been a full-time shutdown cornerback. So I don't trust Sutton at all. I'm no interest in Sutton this week.
Yeah. It's
like I have zero exposure to him on the battle royals on Underdog. Zero. I don't want him at all. Mitchell's been really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's like Darrelle Revis's white brother, 10 years later. So I don't know. I probably shouldn't compare him to that because Revis at his time had an island named after him, but he really has been that good. But Bo Nix, he's not been good outside of one game.
Yeah, exactly.
And J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, that game script. R.J. Harvey had a little bit of run the one game just because it just didn't seem like they were going to run J.K. Dobbins. They didn't feel like they needed to. I don't know if the Broncos are trying to save him or if it's just Sean Payton saying,
well, he got his 100 yards, and then they were up big against Cincinnati, so they just shut him down at that point. So,
but he got 100 yards on 5 carries. I watched the game and it's just where's J.K. Dobbins? And then fourth quarter comes around. Yeah, he said 100 yards. What are you talking about? Because every time he'd be on the field is 10 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards, and it's just not a good spot for the Broncos. Obviously, I cannot believe on a slate I've talked about that seems very ugly. There's a lot of I don't know this, and nobody's talking about this game, and it just seems like the Eagles get the tush push. I mean, 2 wide receivers who are normally 7 AK guys. They're cheap as hell. Dallas Goedert, we talk about him. He's Dallas Goedert, same old, and then Saquon. I've played a ton of Saquon. It's not been bad. He just hasn't gotten there for me. I hate to say it. I'm probably not going to play him today. This will be the day that he goes off. But it's really a good spot, I think, for the Eagles on a slate where nobody's going to play him. They're going to all go 5% or lower ownership. So
I agree. Yeah, unless I'm just completely misreading the market, I don't think anybody's going to play Philly, and I think this is a good opportunity. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just, especially for tournaments, I think, and Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Goddard, AJ Brown, it's all very cheap to be able to play together. It's not like Burrow, Chase, Higgins at their primes where everybody's 8, 9K and you got to punt elsewhere. I mean, you can make it work. So that is it for the early window. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It means the world. Next games, we get a little bit more exciting games. The Detroit Lions, a 400-point road favorite, going to Cincinnati, having their whiteout today where they striped the stadium and all that jazz. Bengals have any life here at this point in time, or is it just over?
I think it's Jover, but we'll see. Actually, I'm a little interested in the receivers this week. We'll talk about that. Detroit, 10.5-point road favorites. Kind of crazy, 49.5-point total. So Detroit's got an applied total of 30 points. That's kind of nuts.
That seems low. That seems low.
Does. Yeah, I expect them to put up like 45 today. Cincy's got an applied total of 19.5. On the Cincy side, no DJ Reed. He's been Detroit's best corner. They play a lot of man, so they're going to be a little undermanned. So I think Chase and Higgins are both in play in this game, especially from a game script where they're going to be chasing points the entire way. The question from the Detroit side, have you heard this David Montgomery thing about his sister being there?
Yes, I think a lot of people are catching on to this narrative.
Yeah, so David Montgomery, he's from Cincinnati. It's his first game back there. His sister was in a car accident, like, I don't know, over the winter or something like that. And her first chance to see, very serious car accident. He was like partially paralyzed or something like that. So her first chance to see him play live. You got to think Dan Campbell's going to get him at least one touchdown, right?
Yeah, it was. I'll give you the stats: minus 185 to score a touchdown, plus 425 to score a first touchdown. I think it was like 220 to score 2 touchdowns. Which anybody laying 220 to score 2 touchdowns, that's
crazy.
That's ignorant. But I think people are catching on a little bit. But I mean, it is. We've seen this Lions offense. They do not care about your feelings. The F your feelings narrative. They will put 50 on this team. They might put.
They don't care if they're up by 20 with 2 minutes left. They're still.
Yeah. I think Lions by 20 is a little low. I will be. All right, here we go. This is more like it. Lions by 50. I mean,
they might put up 50. Wouldn't surprise me.
So I will be very blunt about this. My favorite way to play this. I'm going to play the Jared Goff triples, quadruples today.
Yep.
With confidence. Amon-Ra has been awesome. He's 9,300. He's going to be the most expensive player as far as wide receivers go on this slate. Jameson Williams, they've tried a couple times. Cam Taylor-Britt and the rest of the secondary for Cincinnati is absolute dog shit, respectfully. They've been just absolutely horrible. Sam Laporta, the guy who always gets forgotten about on a tight end slate that is very goofy. He is 4,200 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, 5,600. Catches a touchdown. He can beat the rest of these guys up outside of maybe Trey McBride and Tyler Warren. And then Jahmyr Gibbs. I am almost worried that Jahmyr Gibbs gets underplayed because of his price, which would be.
So that's why I want to play him, because I think that the market's I think everyone's going to be on Taylor. And so, yeah, and I think everyone's going to be on Montgomery, and they're not going to want to play Montgomery and Gibbs. Yep. I still want Gibbs. I still think he's going to, like, his floor in this game is like 20 points, right? Just with his volume. Yep. I still want to play Gibbs because I don't think anybody else is going to want to play him.
Yeah.
Relative to, you can't play really Taylor and Gibbs. That's too expensive. So, yeah, I still want some exposure to Gibbs because I still think he's going to get enough to, like, he can still win you a slate even in a script where like everyone else can as well.
Right. And Lions defense, I believe they are, second most expensive. 3,500 on DraftKings and FanDuel. I believe they're the most expensive. Yeah, $5K is a very big price to pay. I'll talk about the Cincinnati side here. Jamar Chase is the second highest wide receiver. He will get volume. Just for this price, you need a ceiling. I know it's a great matchup against the secondary, but I mean, I don't think the ceiling is there. And when you're paying $9K for Jamar Chase, he needs to have the 30 burger, and he might get 20, but I can also find 20 in the 6 and 7K range. So that's my issue there. T. Higgins, at this point, might as well retire. If Joe Burrow's not throwing him the ball, he just doesn't get there. And then Chase Brown, nobody's going to play him. This offensive line, they've poured more resources into this offensive line. It just somehow gets worse every year. It just ticks down. It just, I don't know. But like I said, I think people are going to play a piece or two of the Detroit game, get a little scared to not play him because they're worried about the lack of back and forth. But I think this is a great way to take advantage. And the Lions stuff is my favorite on the day.
Yeah, for sure. I do want some exposure. You made a good point with Chase in that, can Jake Browning support him getting multiple touchdowns for him to win a slate to pay off that price? I'm not sure, but Higgins is down there. He's down there with Chris Godwin, who's just coming back. Quentin Johnston, who I like, but is going to be part of he's part of a three-headed passing attack. So I just think T. Higgins is going to be really contrarian. So I'm interested in him this week because I think they could put up some very big garbage time points in this game.
Yeah. I mean, Jake Browning was 2 years ago. I mean, he was very serviceable. So I know it's been 2 bad weeks, but I was kind of surprised that they've looked as bad as they have.
They've also played 2 very good defenses, right? They played Denver and the Vikings. So I'm not as down on Brown. Like, I'm not starting him, but I'm not as down on Browning supporting his weapons as kind of everyone else seems to be.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Chase Brown, I'm completely out on. No interest.
Chase Brown.
At that price, you can't get me to start him.
He's not been good. He gets volume, but I mean, he's probably going to have to end up getting in the box twice to kind of get there. So
to pay off that price on this slate, when they've got so many pay down options, it's really hard to pay up for Chase Brown.
Yep. So I know it's easy to say Lions. I'm going to give you a question before we move on here. Out of all the Lions players, you got to pick 2 to play. Which 2 are you picking from this game? Put you on the spot here.
Yeah, I got to. I don't want to play 2 running backs from the same backfield, but I think for me it's Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah, I like Amon-Ra today. I really do.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about him, but I still like him a lot.
And I just don't think that he's going to get played. I don't think people want to pay up for wide receiver. I like him.
He's the most expensive receiver on DK.
Yeah, I always hate chasing narratives, but I mean, David Montgomery, he's from Cincinnati as well. So it just seems like Dan Campbell, he's going to put in that big chaw in. He's going to drink that Starbucks coffee. He's got like a little Pomeranian puppy or something like that. And he's just going to, Dave Montgomery, just have at it in front of your friends and family. So I'll be last thing on this Lions game, and I'll get off of here of bashing the Bengals. If Detroit does not put 40 points up on this team, I will be stunned.
Yeah, I'll be stunned.
Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. So we both agree here. So next game, this is a roller coaster this week. Up, down, up, down, up, down. God's gift to Nashville, the Tennessee Titans, and Cam Ward go on the road to the Cardinals, who I don't know in what world can become a 7.5 point favorite, but I guess against this terrible Titans team, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, Titans are that bad. Got shut out last week. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get shut out this week again.
Yeah.
So Tennessee is a 7.5 point road underdog, 41.5 point total. They've got an implied total of 17. I'm smashing that team under implied total under bet. There's just no way I see them scoring 17 points. I'm surprised if they score 7, to be honest. Arizona's just 24.5. Marvin Harrison redemption tour. Trey McBride's going to be a smash. I think Kyler's viable. Who's the running back? Is it DeMercado? Is it Michael Carter? Is it Zonovan Bam Knight?
Yeah.
good luck figuring that out. I'm playing it through DeMarcado, but yeah, Ty Spears is back for Tennessee, but I still don't see them scoring more than one touchdown, so I'm not interested in anything on the Tennessee side.
No, I mean, before then, Tony Pollard had like a 469% workload. I mean, he got everything and then had nothing to show for it. He would get 25 touches and then it wouldn't be serviceable. So I don't think he can get there. Calvin Ridley seems like he's going to play. I mean, technically it's a good spot for him, but he has been beyond bad. And Cam Ward's taken a lot of sacks. So Arizona defense is going to get highly owned. I believe they're 4K. 4,400 on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, they're just like middle of the pack here. 3,600. Okay, never mind.
They're the highest price. That's on DK.
FanDuel, they are the middle of the pack defense, and then on DraftKings. Right. I mean, I hate to say this because I am Kyler Murray's number one hater, but this is a very easy and straightforward spot for him, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride. I'm not gonna play any of these running backs. I would lean Michael Carter from the news that I've seen. But I don't know. I'm not doing that. I think there's
my only concern with the Cardinal stack is like, do they score an offensive or defensive touchdown early and just shut it down? Just we don't even need to score. We can just run the clock out.
Right.
That's my concern, is that they don't feel like they need to put up a bunch of points to win this game.
No. So what would it take for Tennessee to be a relevant team? I don't know. Need to find God. That's a good start. I don't know where else to.
Yeah, their offensive line's been really bad, which is kind of surprising. What's that kid from Alabama who hasn't even played?
Latham,
yeah, he's been hurt and bad. So, yeah, they probably need a better coach. I was never a huge Cam Ward fan. They need a second. I've seen people saying they want to play Iomanor this week.
No thanks. Come on,
no thanks. Yeah,
we got to be better. There's
too many. It's a short slate, but there's too many options this weekend. Why are you doing that to yourself? It's just, they're not going to score enough points for him to be someone who's going to win you a tournament. And they're not going to score. Like, you need at least a viable option to score one touchdown to start a guy in cash. So, yeah, I don't get that at all. Yeah, he's cheap. I don't care. This offense can't score. They're going on the road. They're going west, east to west for a late game. No, I don't want anything on this Titans team.
No, that's how
they need a lot. That team needs to be overhauled.
That's how we still have an edge when people show up to the party and want to play Iomanor with confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I said Cardinals defense is in a good spot, and I think that's really about it here. I'm not playing any of the running backs. Doesn't sound like you're really pumped to play any of them either. And then,
yeah, this is a week that you should be interested in, like DeMarcado or Carter. But when you've got Dowdle, when you've got Rashad White at cheap prices, why are you subjecting yourself to that uncertainty when you could just be playing guys that are going to get the volume?
No, there's prettier options out there, so you don't always have to go so low. So I don't know. That's enough Titans talk. They're wearing me out. But 2 more games left. The Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels is back. He's playing with a brace on his left leg, going up against the Chargers, a 2.5 home favorite. As far as game environments go, I think this is the most interesting. I think it's most safe compared to the Jets and Cowboys we talked about with all the offensive line injuries. So, I don't know. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, outside of Detroit and the Jets game, this is one of my favorite games. Yeah, and the Carolina. I'd still like the Carolina game, but this is one of the best game scripts of the week. 47-point total in this one. So 22 implied total for Washington, 25 for the Chargers. I think that the problem you're going to have is figuring out which part, if any, of the Chargers you want to play. I've seen a lot of people, and like Hampton is cheap, so I'm interested, but like this Washington team is such a pass funnel. Like they're very good against the run and very bad against the pass. So it's just like, feels like, do you want QJ? Do you want Ladd McConkey in a bounce back script? Do you want Keenan Allen? I think they could all get there, honestly. So yeah, it's tough for me to play Hampton, but I could get buried if I don't play him. So it's tough. We talked about one tight end who's super cheap. I think Rondé Gadsden at 2,700 is viable because the Commanders are terrible against tight ends. They let Kyle Pitts get there against him last week. So I think he's in play as a super punt tight end. On the Washington side, again, it's hard to play Daniels when he's at his price, coming off the injury and going west against a very good defense. But I'm still interested because I think he could be their entire offense. Like, I don't want any part of the running game. But yeah, so it's like Ertz and Debo are interesting. But yeah, this is a game I like. I really like playing through I like Herbert a lot. I like playing this game through the Chargers passing game.
Yeah, I like both sides here. And the thing with Jaden Daniels, it's just really easy. It's Debo Samuel and Zach Ertz. Like, you don't have to worry. Zach Ertz has been really good with Jaden Daniels. And he ends up still in this cheap tight end pool at 5,100 on FanDuel. And then on DraftKings, he ends up a little more expensive, I believe, 3,800 as far as the pricing goes. But he gets targets.
I'd rather play him over Juwan Johnson, Mark Andrews, Goddard.
Yeah. And then
when you get to Laporta, it's kind of sketchy. But yeah, I'd rather pay him than some guys who are ahead of him.
Yeah. Debo Samuel's kicked ass. I know he's got a little bit of an injury thing, but he has been really good. 20, ignore the 4 points there from week 3, but 17-22. It's going to be their wide receiver 1. Chargers defense without Khalil Mack, I mean, they've been okay. I don't think they've been as good as advertised. They were really good to start the year, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit with some of the injuries. But
I can see them getting there this week if you think that, like, Jaden Daniels isn't 100% coming back, a little rusty coming off the layoff. I could see them being a punt tight end. It's just, you're going to play the Chargers ahead of the Texans on DK. The Texans are $600 cheaper.
Just hard to.
Yeah. So if you want to get as a contrarian tournament option, I think they're okay. But
yeah, as far as running backs go, the way it's worked out, Chris Rodriguez starts these games for Washington. He plays like a drive or two, and then you get the Big Bill experience. None of them have been really great or startable. They'd probably be large field.
But like but they're just rotating snaps. Like McNichols got as many snaps as those other. He didn't get the touches, but he got as many snaps as those guys did. So it's impossible to trust any of them right now.
Yeah, it's just not fun clicks. On the other side, I know you talked about you really liking these wide receivers. I'm going to give Ladd McConkey one more week. I came on here last week.
Agree.
I bet the ladder. I filed for bankruptcy, but you know what? I borrowed some money. I'm going to go back to the well one more time on Ladd McConkey, and it's just it's coming. It's a great spot for it.
I love the Herbert McConkey stacks this week.
Yeah, and I would play him with QJ. I would leave Keenan Allen out if I had to pick just 2. I think all 3 are viable if you want to play it with the tight end, the cheap tight end, pay up for another receiver elsewhere. But QJ and Ladd McConkey would be my 2 preferred guys with Herbert, but I also think Keenan Allen and Gagston is definitely viable as well. So
QJ still feels too cheap, right? At 5,700,
yes.
He's getting there. He's getting there every week.
For how good he's been, I mean,
yeah.
Top 10 wide receiver as far as fantasy points, 23, 14, 15, 24.
I mean, he was their entire offense. Him and Hampton, like, they were their entire offense last week. So
yeah,
he still feels too cheap.
Ladd scared me with the drops last week. Freaky Friday between him and QJ. Get some stickum on his hands. He'll be all right. One more week.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I want to give him one more week. I feel like this is a game they're just going to try and get him going.
I mean, even with the injuries to the offensive line, they've just totally leaned into the pass. They do not. Also, I know Hampton's been good, but I mean, they still are leaning into Herbert.
I think Washington's going to be without Sanderson, who's their slot corner. So I mean, this just feels like the game that they try and get Ladd on track and get him going, get him some touches, get him some opportunities, get him in the end zone for the first time.
Yep. And I know Dan Quinn is supposed to be a defensive guy, but he's given up some absolute monster games on defense. So this defense
is not good.
No. So any interest in any of the defenses here? I'm going to assume no. I like both these offenses.
Yeah, like I said, Chargers I could see if you want to get contrarian as a tournament option, it'd just be completely different because I could see Washington struggling coming off the Daniels layoff, but yeah, not my preferred play.
No. So I'm not playing either of them. Last game, getting the retro jerseys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Pacific Northwest, go against Seattle. Having a really hard time figuring out this game. Seattle 3.5 point home favorites. a lot of injuries. No Mike Evans, no Bucky Irving. Jason's been really good this year. We get the Rachaad White stuff, so it's just kind of hard to go through this game. But if you have a lean or an edge, I'd love to hear it.
Tampa Bay, like you said, going cross country, 4-point dogs, 44.5-point total in this one. So 20.25 implied total for Tampa, 24.25 for Seattle. Dare I say, I think this is a smash game for Sam Darnold in the passing game. Like this, again, this is a Tampa Bay defense that's a complete pass funnel. They're very good against the run, even without Kalijah Kancey, but they're terrible against it. They're really bad against the pass. So yeah, Darnold's getting there, man. He's getting like 17 points every week. I think Tampa's got to go. This is the second longest road trip in the NFL, other than Miami going to Seattle. So that's tough travel for them. Baker's kind of dinged up. I kind of like Ibuka, but just because like the Seattle secondary is a little bit beat up as well, they're going to be playing without Witherspoon. So I think the Bucks receivers are in play, and it's Rachaad White because Seattle gives up like they're like Dallas. They give up a lot of pass volume to Rachaad White, and that's his game, right? So I think Rachaad White's in play. But yeah, I kind of like the Darnold to JSN stacks this week.
Yeah, my only problem, because I felt that way as well, liking Darnold. My problem with Darnold, I feel like if you play Darnold, you have to bring one more with him, not just JSN.
Yeah,
and then like Cooper Kupp has not been great. Torrey Horton not been great. Tight ends, I don't know. Arroyo, I believe it's AJ Barner. That was my only thing. I really do like JSN. He has been absolutely whooping ass. He's getting very expensive, rightfully deserved.
But he deserves it.
Yeah,
I mean, he's putting up 20 points every week.
Yeah, 8,500 on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, he ends up being a 7,100 receiver price point there. But it sets up against this Buccaneers team that's just reeling. It's very weird. We're on a slate like this, and I'm not playing the Baker double because it's just so easy. Chris Godwin walked into just the motherload of workload. They do not care about his injury coming back from. He just walked right into a ginormous workload.
10 targets.
Mecca Buka got there on very goofy, like broken up play. He had long touchdown and had a big day from it. It was like 74 yards, but it was just on like broken coverage. It wasn't necessarily really good, but he's gotten there. So a little worried about this offensive line going up against Seattle, who's just been really good on defense. They've been an absolute unit on defense so far. So two guys we did not talk about is Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. That is definitely a way to get different because I don't think anybody's going to play them. Any interest in either today?
No, I don't want to start any running back against Tampa's run defense.
You don't
I can see Walker falling into the end zone. No, I don't want to play. Is it possible one of these guys falls into the end zone twice and kind of gets there? Yeah, but I don't think they're going to have huge games. So it's just so hard to not play this game through JSN.
Yeah, I agree as well. The thing, if you watch these Seattle games, Kenneth Walker will rip off a long run, and then the next play he'll run back 5 yards, and then they insert Zach.
Or he'll run to the sideline he'll sprint to the sideline so Charbonnet can come in.
Yeah, and then Kenneth Walker will be doing really good, and then they get to the red zone, and then you see number 26 in there instead of number 9 when you're playing Kenneth Walker, and you're just like, damn it, why? And I'm in the living room melting down, doing my normal stuff, so it's just really hard to play. They've both been good. I mean, I think Walker's been obviously better than Charbonnet, but Charbonnet's getting enough workload to where it's hard to play Kenneth Walker because you're going to have to bank on him having those long runs and stuff, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah, like Walker's 6,300 on DK, and Scatabo is $6,000. I'd rather play Scatabo straight up.
Yeah. So especially with the workload that he's gotten there,
I'd rather play Breece Hall's $1,000 cheaper. I'd rather play Breece Hall.
Yep. So I tend to agree there. I just feel like a lot of these pieces outside of JSN is going to be forgotten about on a slate where, like, it seems like there's 10 plays. I told you this before the show. I feel like there's 10 DFS plays, and you got to pick 8 of them. It's Dowdle, it's Rachaad White, it's Jalen Waddle at a cheap price. Just, I don't know. I feel like this game's going to get a little bit overlooked as far as game stacking goes. One last thing, Rachaad White, we talked about him a little bit, but he's going to be a pillar in a lot of these things because of how affordable he is. He's 700 on DraftKings. FanDuel, he is 5,200. He's
Probably
probably going
under
to get
65% ownership.
Ah, boy. I'll say under.
Think so?
Not by much, but
I think he's over. I think he's pushing 70 this week.
But there's not a whole lot of Jonathan Taylor, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, but there's just not a whole lot of guys you have to pay down to pay up for, if that makes sense. It's not like we have.
True. Yeah.
It's not like we have Puka. It's not like we have Josh Allen, Lamar, Lamar's there, but people aren't going to play him. But just those high-priced guys that people have been playing at ease. So I don't know. Commanders game, Buccaneers game. I think both these games have a little go under on ownership. There might be a piece, but as far as stacks go, on a slate that just seems really ugly, it just makes a lot of sense to go after these two games. So I think any defense thoughts before we get out of here?
Not really. Yeah, there's nothing in this game that would interest me nearly as much as the Texans defense at their price.
Yeah, and just too cheap. So before we get out of here, obviously the most important thing on the show, we're going to do the flag plants. I feel like we've ran pretty good so far and have another week coming on. So excited to hear what yours is on a slate like this. So your first flag plant for week 5.
I'm going G. Willie, Garrett Wilson against the Dallas Cowboys secondary.
Defense.
Like I said,
defense.
Defense. Gave up 3 touchdowns to Romeo Doubs last week. It just couldn't stop anyone. Like the big pass to Matthew Golden, even though like they had 2 receivers in the exact same area, they still gave up. Like if one of them would have peeled off, it should have been a touchdown. This defense, their secondary is absolutely terrible, especially on the road. They're brutal. Yes, he's the only show in town, but they couldn't stop really the only show in town last week. So, Garrett Wilson is going to be my first flag plant.
My first flag plant, I think, will go under 15% ownership, which I think is crazy, but it's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Highest wide receiver price on the slate. Awesome matchup against Cincinnati. I just love this game environment, and I think people are probably going to steal one of the running backs and move on because of what they think of the game flow, but I'm just going to play Amon-Ra, who has been lights out so far this year. So Amon-Ra is my first one, and then your last one for the week.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Amon-Ra is going to be under-owned. That's probably an opportunity for generational wealth in this game. My second's going to be
need it bad.
Yeah, I feel you. My second's going to be Tet McMillan. Like I said before, I think not just his first touchdown. I think he gets multiple touchdowns in this game. I think he probably gets enough that Bryce Young is viable this week. Miami, terrible secondary, terrible defense. Again, on the road after a Monday night game. So short rest. Yeah, I don't love playing Carolina, but I just feel like this is the week that the Tet McMillan really he's been getting there. It's just he hadn't scored a touchdown. So I think multiple touchdowns from McMillan this week.
I think that's a great call. He's getting 8 targets at least every single game, and it's a great spot for him. My last one, I'm going to flip between 2 guys, and I guess I'll just lay both of them out. My one guy, I'm going to go right back to Nico Collins, setting up against this Ravens secondary. I don't think people are going to play him because of how expensive he is, but I just think he sets up really nice. And then my unofficial one last week was Ashton Genty. He went off, so I guess this is probably my unofficial one for this week. Ladd McConkey. So he cost me. I've had to go to the bank, do the foreclosure on my house and stuff, but I've borrowed some money and I'm going to go back to it one more time. This is the week. So I feel pretty good about those. Just kind of paying up at wide receiver this week feels good, at least for me. So that will do it for week 5 NFL DFS. Joel, I appreciate you being on as always. If you let the world know where to find you.
Yeah, at Joel Wirth on the Twitter and on the Bluesky. You can hit me up on either one. And then doing the DFSG Thursday night preview show on the Statement Games YouTube channel, DFSG Plus. So check us out there.
Absolutely. Over here on the Twitter machine, I actually pointed at it correctly, at Jameson Rules. On the YouTube, if you haven't liked and subscribed, leave a comment. Please do. I guess it helps with the algorithm. Always feels weird asking about that stuff, but make sure to check out all of Joel's stuff. I just think Joel's the absolute man. That's why he's here every week. So until next week, I hope everybody wins some money, and we will see you then. Guys, have a good week. Peace.